We are just about a week away from the NFL free agency to begin. So we're going to answer the biggest question probably this offseason to start, and that includes the most important position, the kicker. I'm kidding. Your face. It's the quarterback position. There's a lot of teams that are going to have a lot of quarterback questions. There's some intriguing free agents as well. And we're going to start off with...
if you ask Ravens fans, the kicker is very important.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe we got to do a video about the kickers one day.
Let's start off with... I'm going to start off with the NFC. I feel like this guy is the best player out of these players, potential players that are going to be available to move. And that's the Arizona Cardinals situation. What's going to happen there? Are they going to have a new quarterback? And Kyler Murray, is he going to be on the move?
So basically, what we're going to be doing is going to some teams that we believe that might be moving on from the quarterbacks.
Some reactions will be quicker than others.
Yeah. Because some situations are a little bit easier than the others.
Yeah.
Raiders. But we're seeing that if their current quarterback's going to be back or going to be gone, and who could be a potential replacement, whether that be in the draft or free agency or just...
Yeah, so we're going to predict who the Cardinals quarterback is going to be next season and where Kyler Murray will end up being. But just to recap about the Cardinals quarterback situation, Kyler Murray's had a big contract, had a really bad year this year, cannot find chemistry with his weapons, essentially, especially with Marvin Harrison Jr., who was supposed to be this next generational wide receiver coming out of Ohio State. Jacoby Brissett, although he didn't result to many wins, looks like he got command of the whole offense going. Trey McBride is now arguably the best tight end in NFL. You could argue in a healthy Brock Bowers and all that, but I think you agree that at least with the minimum top three.
Yes.
At the minimum top three. So let's talk about this Cardinals situation. Do you believe Kyler Murray is going to be back, and who will be their quarterback to challenge the NFC West teams and the NFC overall?
If you were to ask me mid-season and the moment he got injured, I would have said, yeah, he would have been back. But the fact that Jacoby Brissett unlocked another level of Trey McBride, a guy who in his year prior wasn't getting many touchdowns, and then this year was just it felt like when the moment Brissett came into the game was getting a touchdown, multiple touchdowns like every game. We saw a much better Marvin Harrison Jr. with Jacoby Brissett than without Kyler Murray as well. And because of those situations, I'm much more confident that they are going to move off of Kyler Murray. The issue is obviously they have a big, massive contract.
So is it a trade or is it a buyout?
For me, it might be looking like buyout situation.
Personally, I still think Kyler Murray is talented enough, and I know
I don't know. I don't like who's gonna trade for.
We have a list of teams that are desperate.
Their teams are desperate, but I'm not looking at it like who's gonna trade for a player. Like Kyler Murray is gonna be an upgrade over, for example,
Justin
Minnesota.
Fields. True.
Right? Like he's gonna be an upgrade. That's for sure. But who's going to trade for that contract, right? Minnesota has obviously a lot of money committed to Jefferson, Hawkinson, some of their defense, Addison potentially as well. So some of their O-linemen that they have signed, they were able to, they had Sam Darnold on a cheap deal. They had JJ McCarthy on the rookie deal. They're going to need someone a little bit cheaper to get the job done.
But going back to the Cardinals,
you're looking at one. I don't know how much you're gonna get for him. I'll be honest with you. And I'm not saying that's because he's a pure garbage quarterback. Like he did not.
The talent is there. He's the best potential available guy.
Potentially.
If he's gonna be available, he might be the best option available.
Well, Daniel Jones is, in my opinion.
Well, coming off an Achilles though, and I know Kyler's coming off an injury too, but not an Achilles. Yeah,
but overall, it has to be buyout for me. I don't see. I just don't see.
So you're going off the bat. They're getting a new quarterback next year.
Because of that Jacoby Brissett situation. Of him coming in and doing something like that. I think it's buyout, and I don't know, the type of replacement they're gonna get is definitely stopgap because of the draft class not being the highest quality, especially in the quarterback position.
Unless they take someone in the second round or third round or whatever, Carson Beck-esque guy, because the only guy that should be going in the first round is the first overall pick and potential first overall pick and projected, first overall pick. And
maybe Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson maybe falls, but the mocks I'm seeing that he's not even in the first round. So my question to you, week 1, Cardinals quarterback, who is it going to be? You have a list of Malik Willis, Tua, Fields, Watson, Sanders, Jones, Richardson, Kyler, we already said no, Flacco, Brissett, Gardner Minshew, guys like that.
I'm pretty sure, isn't Minshew himself injured? Or he
avoided
he avoided the ACL, right?
He might be going back and playing the first 2 weeks with the Chiefs, to be honest.
I feel like you go with a stopgap. I don't know if anyone in the draft class they're gonna value too much to give him that position. I'm gonna go with Jacoby Brissett.
I'm going with Jacoby Brissett. For me, okay, if you can't get the wins, you're gonna have a chance at the quarterbacks next year. Arch Manning might be the guy.
And also, Jacoby Brissett's a proper vet, right?
So if they do draft one.
So, yeah, that's one. But also, number two, he got the best out of the younger talent of this team, right? So at the end of the day, he might still be helping other guys in the offense develop, like the younger players. And maybe potentially you could see a little bit of unlock of Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. I just feel like it worked to an extent. Obviously, it didn't result in wins, but it worked to the point that we saw some of their own, like Michael Wilson, who had I would say a really solid year, especially when Brissett came in as well. And when Marvin Harrison Jr. was out, this guy put up numbers. So as long as those guys are developing, and they did kind of under Jacoby Brissett, I feel like that's the route they should go.
So I agree with you. I feel like it's time for a little divorce between both of those guys. New step in the direction needed. I want to see Kyler Murray in a situation where he could win, potentially put a team over to the win, and we'll see where we end up predicting him overall. Next up, one thing I do want to make clear. For example, the Kansas City Chiefs, we know Patrick Mahomes is going to be the quarterback. He might not be the week one quarterback to start. That might be a backup guy, but we know that their quarterback situation is fine for this year specifically because he's not going to be out for the whole year, right? Like, you agree with that? We don't need to talk about the Chiefs in this situation. Let's go to a quick round. The New Orleans Saints. I think
Shock played his way.
Shock played his way into it. I 100% agree. He will be the starter next season. Is there going to be somewhat of a leash? 100%. I don't know how short that's going to be. For me, they're going to probably bring in a veteran guy to be behind him, aka a Kirk Cousins, aka a Joe Flacco type guy. That if he is struggling, you're gonna probably throw in a guy like that. At least for me, I think Shock should at least get half the year, depending on how bad he is, to be honest. But like, he should get at least half the year to see what you truly have at quarterback, because at the end of the day, next year's class, we'll see what it ends up being. Again, we don't know if any of these guys are going to declare, but it should be the Arch Manning year. And we know that
Dante Moore,
who went back to college as well. Lenore Sellers, if he can upgrade his draft stock this year.
But this is simple. We expected the Saints to be like utter garbage, but Shock got them to 11 wins. 11 losses, 6 wins.
Yeah, like 6 more wins than I thought, 5 more wins than I thought he was gonna get. But the next team, we mentioned them a little bit, and we're gonna stick with the NFC. Then we'll end off in the AFC in general, because there's not many teams, in my opinion, in the NFC unless you could think of any. The Minnesota Vikings. Their situation at the moment right now is JJ McCarthy was supposed to be their starting quarterback, long-term guy. However, he was nicknamed 9 because people did not want to say his name. To the point where Justin Jefferson had a down year, even though he still put up 1,000 yards, still a down year for his standards. There's people projecting him to moving to the Bills and wherever else that needs a quarterback. Wherever else needs a wide receiver. Their backup situation was Carson Wentz. He ended up being hurt as well. Again, Carson Wentz is going to just be a backup somewhere. Maybe he's the guy that goes off behind Shock, or whatever the case might be. Derek Carr is also in the conversation, but I'm not going to take him seriously. Listen, I'm going to put it out of the way. I still think it's going to be JJ McCarthy. You invest that much into him. I feel like you cannot give up on him after 1 year. And I know I sound like I am a Colts fan, so we know which situation is going to be. I'm going to say it right now, if they are going to add another quarterback, and that quarterback will be Anthony Richardson. Because of the relationship that we've seen, not necessarily a relationship, but the few times we've seen Kevin O'Connell praise Anthony Richardson to his face in the media and all that. Again, as a Colts fan, I hate that we're going to give up on him that quick as well. And we'll talk about probably going to end off this video with the Colts because, again, fandom, so biased. But I think if Anthony Richardson is going to get traded, it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. And it's going to be a battle between him and JJ McCarthy. And people are going to say, a battle of mid, battle of shit, whatever you want to call it. But if you have Kevin O'Connell, and we saw what Kevin O'Connell did with Sam Darnold, we saw Kevin O'Connell win some games. At the end of the day, he got 9 wins with whatever his quarterback situation was last year. JJ McCarthy struggled. Carson Wentz obviously wasn't all that great. I don't know who the third guy was.
Bosmer, who was even worse.
Yeah, and he got 9 wins, and he finished ahead of the...
shout out Brian Flores for that.
Yeah, to be fair, defense had a lot to do with that, but at the end of the day, the offense still did enough to get put out wins for sure. For me, before you go, JJ McCarthy will be the quarterback to start week 1 in my opinion, but I feel like they will be bringing in Anthony Richardson. And that's my prediction.
See that. I think that's realistic. another name I'm going to throw out there because I agree with you in that situation, but I feel like I want to throw this out just because he has been there before, and that's Kirk Cousins.
Bring him back?
Potentially.
Vet.
I think McCarthy is going to be on the roster still. Like, McCarthy is going to be a Vikings quarterback. It's going to be, I don't know for sure if he's going to be a starter or not. Whether it be a QB battle with him and Richardson, who knows? I think, like you said, McCarthy might just get it just because it was just 1 year. And we'll see if he can improve on that, which obviously he can't play much worse, in my opinion. But another thing is just like getting a guy that, if they really want to try to win, I think Kirk Cousins might be the play just because, one, he knows the system, and two, he didn't look awful in the second year against Atlanta when he came in for Michael Penix.
Yeah, and speaking of a guy that needs to revive himself next year, Michael Penix and his injuries, obviously a guy like CJ Stroud, we believe they're going to be the starting quarterbacks.
Kirk Cousins, I feel like, could go back. He's a year removed from the Achilles, so obviously I think he's a little bit more healthy. Obviously he's up there in age, but just going back to a familiar place, and that's where Jefferson had a lot of success with Kirk Cousins, especially in his early years. And the offense, I think, will work if he comes back. It just depends on the situation they're trying to go for. Is that, are they going to take the young route and be patient with a guy like McCarthy, potentially Anthony Richardson? Or, because their roster is definitely good enough to win something.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Like
9 wins. Again.
Exactly. So getting a guy like Kirk Cousins back, see what he can do. He's been there, done that. If he still has anything left in the tank, I think he does, especially what he showed in the second half of the season. Not like the Kirk Cousins of old, but like before Atlanta, like those Viking days. But I feel like it's definitely a better and more safer pick than McCarthy and Richardson.
Okay, so 2 questions. 1, who's week 1 quarterback? 2, more likely to be joining that team, Richardson or Cousins?
For me, personally, I think it's close one. If I were to pick, I might lean Cousins.
So you're saying they're getting Cousins more likely than Richardson, and he'll be the week 1 starter?
Yes. I'm banking on Cousins here, personally.
I feel like Cousins might go to a Falcons type team. I know he got released from there, and maybe like a Dolphins or whatever the case might be.
I genuinely believe that if Cousins goes somewhere, he's going to go to a spot where he could potentially be QB1.
Fair. Maybe
and Vikings is that place.
His career again if he wants to keep playing.
Yeah, I think Vikings is that place.
Okay. So those are the NFC teams. Really, the Falcons already mentioned. Like probably should be Penix, but it's gonna be his last chance most likely, and they will probably add a Flacco type vet in my personal opinion, or whoever else is gonna be. But let's move on to the AFC, and I'm gonna start off with the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns.
Well,
I don't think they're adding anyone new. I'm gonna say that. So it kind of comes down to, is it Dylan Gabriel, is it Shadur Sanders, or is it Deshaun Watson? And I'm gonna get it out of the way. They're gonna do whatever it takes for Deshaun Watson to be the guy, because ownership paid him all that money, all the guaranteed money. If he's healthy, Watson. He's gonna start week 1. Is that gonna last all the way? Who knows?
It's Deshaun Watson. It's going to be Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, so you're on the same page as me then.
I'm on the same page as you. Gabriel's out of the picture. If Deshaun Watson's not healthy, it has to be Shadur Sanders. And I don't know. The Shadur Sanders pick felt like more of the ownership type of pick in terms of a Kevin Stefanski type pick.
Yeah, business move.
Yeah. So in that case, I mean, technically their new coach wanted him as well, Todd Monken, for their Baltimore Ravens. So if it's between Shadur and Dylan Gabriel, I'm 99% confident that it will be Shadur. And performance-wise, I think it should be Shadur as well compared to Dylan Gabriel. But if Watson's there and healthy, it's gonna be Watson, because that's what they're gonna force him to start if he's there, just because, like you said, they paid him all that money. And number 2, they're just like, they obviously gave up a lot just to get him as well.
Do you think they add another quarterback?
No, it makes no sense to, really.
Yeah, I know, but it's the Cleveland Browns.
Like, I know, like last year,
2 guys in the 3rd and 5th rounds.
Well, last year they had like what, Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, like 4 quarterbacks, and like Shadur.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised, but they don't need to. Like, obviously they need to, but like to get a good guy, but they're not gonna, or they shouldn't be able to. Is what I'm trying to say.
All right, the other AFC North team that has a big quarterback question. They finally are off the Tomlin era, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They bring in Big Mike McCarthy. Part one of the question is Aaron Rodgers going to retire? According to reports from Schefter, that it's going to be a quicker decision than last year. But the main question is, if he does come back, does he want to play back for Mike McCarthy? So I'll start off once again. I think he might retire. I think he not might. I think he will retire. Two, mainly because I don't think he was gonna play for Mike McCarthy, and I don't know where else he would go. He's not going back to the Jets. Maybe the Dolphins bring him. I don't know, but I think that era's done. So for me, either they draft a guy like Ty Simpson if they do take him in that 20-something range. We'll see what ends up being with the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. Is that finally gonna be the year they do not go 500? Overall, and there might be a chance that might be it, but Mike McCarthy's still a high floor type of coach, so it seems like they're still going to be all competitive. This is where I am predicting Mr. Malik Willis after the year he had with Green Bay. He's reportedly projected to make $30 million this year as well. We'll see what ends up happening. At least at the very minimum, I think environment is going to be the same in terms of the weather. Overall, obviously, we'll see what the play calling and all that's going to be. But this is where I don't know why this feels like a Pittsburgh Steeler guy.
Because
I'm putting in Malik Willis.
When we're looking at this list, the Steelers are the only team that is good. Like everything else wise, right? Like obviously Vikings as well. Yeah. I'll give them that too. But other teams, Cardinals, not great. The Browns, terrible offense. The Steelers and the Vikings, like they have the good defenses. They have a couple pieces here and there. For me, I see it for sure.
So wait, do you agree with the Aaron Rodgers part though? First,
I feel like I just don't know what team he. I think he's going to retire. I'm feeling retirement.
So he's not. So you're predicting he's not a Steeler.
I think he won't be a Steeler.
Okay,
but no, actually no. I kind of here's my reasoning. I feel like if he's not retiring, I think he will be a Steeler. I think he'll be the week 1 starter.
Okay.
Because the reason is I think they will draft Ty Simpson.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go on that. But I feel like Ty Simpson is gonna be a Steeler, and if Aaron Rodgers does come back, I think they're gonna use obviously Ty Simpson to use Aaron Rodgers to mentor Ty Simpson and
just don't listen to his off the field stuff, but let's go on the field.
No, exactly. So
you're actually locking in Aaron Rodgers.
Technically I'm more so.
If he doesn't retire, he's gonna be a Steeler.
Yeah.
If he retires.
If he retires, I'm gonna say Ty Simpson.
So you're saying off the.
I'm backing that. I'm going with the more Ty Simpson route here.
Obviously,
I see Malik Willis just because they are competitive and you get a good guy, for sure. But I'm locking in the more Ty Simpson and the more younger guy and more looking towards the draft.
Obviously, this is the guy that passed up on a couple of years ago when they took Kenny Pickett. Malik Willis, he's not going to have Matt LaFleur this time. He's going to have Mike McCarthy most likely be his play caller. So we'll see what ends up overall happening there as well. So for me, Malik Willis is off the board. Jacoby Brissett for both of us is off the board and all of that. So that wraps up the AFC North. Let's go to the AFC. We'll get the easy one out of the way. The AFC West. The Vegas Raiders.
Gino's gone. Mendoza's a quarterback.
Okay. Yeah. Like for me, listen, it's got to be Fernando Mendoza. You got to give him the chance. He's the highly touted guy. We'll see what he ends up being. Again, he's not a surefire thing in the NFL window, but then again, we'll see what they end up doing. They hired Clint Kubiak, so he could help out with that case. Let's see what ends up happening. Listen, obviously, we'll make a proper Raiders video after when it comes to the draft side of things, and we'll go from there. They obviously got to believe heart and hearts that he is going to be the quarterback of the future, but at the end of the day, it's the position. You need to have an answer one. And if you don't believe he's the guy, then you either try to trade down or you pick a different guy, sure. But in my opinion, the way he performed the last 2 years in college, right, especially last year in college, because the year before it was Curtis Rourke, I forgot, for Indiana. But like this past year in college, I'm not saying he's going to be good as Joe Burrow, but it's kind of give you a Joe Burrow-esque story.
Yeah,
but
I think I'm going to say this. One thing I'm going to say. I will be shocked if this kid is not like a hard worker.
Yeah.
He's definitely optimistic as hell. He has Clint Kubiak, who's a Super Bowl winning play caller.
Yeah.
And he has Tom Brady. So he has people to learn off of, and he has that mindset to work. He himself has a comeback story.
You know what the meme is? If there's anyone that's gonna work in Vegas, it's Fernando Mendoza.
Because he's not gonna be partying and
gambling
and all that stuff, right? As well. So that's also another plus. I am on the side of that he is going to work out for the Raiders, but I'm going to say the rest of the talk for that Raiders.
Okay, so to answer to ask you another question about the Raiders very quickly, not Raiders, but Geno Smith, is he getting a job as a starter this year? This time around?
No, he was really bad. He was too bad.
He's gonna go to a team that might have a quarterback.
Like the Kirk Cousins one, I brought it up because I thought Kirk Cousins did some things decently to kind of put himself in the conversation where a team might use him as a stopgap, or if becomes so desperate they don't have an answer after free agency and after a draft, they might just get him. Geno Smith did not play like that at all.
I think he's going to a team Saints-esque where they're going to have that type of young quarterback that might not make it through the season. You might throw in a vet in. That's the type of spot where Geno Smith is going to end up going. All right, let's jump up to the AFC East, and we're going to start off with the New York Jets, who have, I don't think they're bringing back Justin Fields. I think you agree with that.
This is where I'm thinking Malik Willis.
I was between this and the Steelers. So I ultimately went with the Steelers for Malik Willis. This is where I might put in Kyler Murray.
Potentially. Yeah.
Because I think Kyler Murray has to get started in the NFL
because,
next year somewhere.
Look, locked before, the answer was clear. It was Dante Moore. But he ain't,
He went back.
So he ain't going to be in the draft. I'm thinking they're going for, a guy that's still, potentially could be solid enough. That's Malik Willis, and that's potentially Kyler Murray, depending on what happens with his situation. So this is where I would lock in Malik Willis.
Okay, so for me, it's Kyler Murray. I feel like the Jets are the type of team to just do this and be like, all right, let's.
They're just trying to be competitive. I think they will try to be competitive.
Not even just try to be competitive, but the thing with it, again, I still think Kyler Murray is talented. Again, he's gonna have Garrett Wilson there. We'll see what ends up happening with Brees Hall. Who's their play caller? Clearly, it was someone not great for Justin Fields, but I feel Kyler Murray is a starter in the NFL. I do not care what anybody says. Yes, is he a top half of the NFL guy this past year? Hell no. I believe he can get to that. But for me, this is where I have him here. Overall, if the Colts are if he gets bought out, if I'm the Colts, I'm going all out for him. Because I think he'll be the cheaper option, quote unquote, than paying a guy like Daniel Jones or whoever these teams we'll see what ends up happening with Tua and the Dolphins and all that. But for me, the Jets are moving off of Justin Fields. If they do take Kyler Murray, which means they're off the quarterback market next year, in my opinion, unless he's been that bad or fully injured for the whole year as well. Because I think Kyler Murray will at least help him be somewhat competitive, and he's still somewhat of an exciting quarterback when he's healthy playing.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna be having my doubts now. Because I don't know. It's too many injuries. Coming off a really bad year. Might be getting let go. Not known to have the greatest work ethic, I would say as well. Because of all these Call of Duty memes. But I don't know if we're going to be seeing a good version of Kyler Murray again, potentially. I might be falling off that trade where he is going to be regressing. But at the same time, I do see your point just because we have seen the talent be there and exist. So maybe a change of scenery is what is needed. But then again, Jets are not going to be a good spot. Exactly, yeah. But overall, I'm not going to say I'm fully out on Kyler Murray for anything. I would agree with you. I would probably take Kyler Murray on the low, then pay Daniel Jones $40 million. So I agree with that. So you have two spots where you could leave to put him now because we have two more teams left, and that's the Dolphins and the Colts, and we'll go to the Dolphins. Do you believe Tua's back? Do you believe Quinn Ewers is going to be the guy? Do you believe this is where you're going to put Kyler Murray, for example? They have a new head coach in Jeff Hafley, so obviously it's not Michael McDaniel anymore. Look, probably here. You are? You're saying they're moving off of Tua completely. I don't know. That means Tua's not going to have a job. I think there's a situation. It doesn't have to be necessarily Tua's not having a job. You're saying it's a Baker Darnold situation in Carolina. Exactly. You're predicting that. Okay, that's crazy. What I'm going for. Because I'm seeing Tua late to the Steelers and stuff. I'm you really want this guy to be in the cold environment where he has struggled? So that's why I'm not linking him in any of those spots. Yeah, I could see it. I could see a Baker Darnold type Carolina situation with the Miami Dolphins with Tua and Kyler, which is going to be toxic for both sides. It is. It's Miami. They might not do something great. That's why. I'm saying they're keeping Tua for one more year. I can see that happen there. And go with your route for Malik Willis to the Steelers. And this toxic thing happened in the New York Jets, where they have Tua on the low and Kyler Murray on the low. With both of them? In New York Jets. Okay. I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling that
they're on the same team together.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I'll be honest with you. I don't see it.
The only other team, okay, there are three teams that could pull it off. Steelers, just because they did the Wilson and Fields thing, we're like, oh, they got Russell Wilson, they're not going to trade Fields, but they still traded for Fields. So I can see it happening there if they both get cut. Not trade, but if they both get cut. Jets, just because they're Jets and they're Jets. And the Dolphins, because they're almost like the Jets.
For me, the Dolphins, I'm saying they're going to go one more year with Tua. I think this is going to be the final straw. This is going to be with the new head coach. They're going to determine it. Because again, when you pay someone $50-something million, I know he was not good last year. I still think, like, listen, call me crazy. Again, on the low, I wouldn't mind the Colts getting him. On the low. I'm not trading for him and I'm getting the $50 million in there. I'm saying on the low, him, Kyler, I'd rather have that than paying Daniel Jones even 30 to 40, $50 million.
I could take 30, but 40 is quite...
So for me, I think the Dolphins are going to give Tua one last chance. Doesn't work out. They're moving off. Clean slate. They're going to draft a guy next year. They might bring a guy like Kyler Murray next year. Because I could still see Cardinals keeping Kyler Murray, to be honest. Same vibe. But I see that one being more of a divorce because of what you said about the Jacoby Brissett situation there. Whereas with Dolphins, I think it's going to be...
I agree with that.
I
could see Kyler getting cut more than Tua.
So I think Dolphins are going to run it back with Tua, Quinn Ewers, and see how it ends up happening there. So the final team before we go with the list of potential remaining candidates, it is the Indianapolis Colts, our squad. We talked about them a bit before. The rumors are they want to bring back Daniel Jones. The rumor are they will tag one of Jones and Pierce. So for me, Daniel Jones is looking at what, $40 million according to, I think, James Boyd and Stephen Holder and all these guys, the Colts insiders. Listen, I'm going to get out of the way. Yes, I think they're going to bring him back.
It's Daniel Jones.
I don't know how much of a leverage, who has more leverage in this case, because again, if, let's say by the time this video comes out, we get the news of Kyler is being cut, for example.
It depends on the options, right? Like if Kyler's cut, Tua's cut, right? And at the end, Malik Willis is there. The leverage will probably go towards the Colts just because they can add a quarterback, especially when you look at Kyler and Tua on the cheap. That could potentially,
or like another vet guy.
Yeah, that could potentially, no, but like when you're looking at, like more so Kyler and Tua, like that could potentially do what Daniel Jones did last year, right? But at the same time, the issue is when you made that trade for Sauce Gardner, it felt like, they're going all in on Daniel Jones. They're like, Daniel Jones is going to be our guy. So in that situation, you feel like the leverage is for Daniel Jones because you're like, oh, you made this trade. You traded away your future to make the team better for me, right? But then when you look at the other way, we don't know. This is why I didn't want to start Daniel Jones, because at the end of the day, even if he played really good, or if he played really bad, obviously we're going to answer. But even if he played really good, we're not going to know that this guy is going to be good just because he has never ever put 2 seasons back to back together where he has played at least decent football, because it's either one season he was good, the next season is absolute garbage. That's just how it is. And then this one, we don't know, is it because of the easy schedule we had? That's why he played good. We don't know if it's just a good hot run. We don't know if he might actually be the guy potentially as well. We don't know how much of it was when he started playing
as well.
What?
We don't know how much of it is also a contract motivation.
Exactly, all those things. But we also don't know that when the bad things started happening, it started happening against Pittsburgh, Kansas City, right? Is that injury or is that just him reverting back to his old ways and his old habits? We also don't know that. So we can't guarantee that first half Daniel Jones is the guy, not necessarily because he was really good, but we saw games where he played against really good defenses struggle. We don't know if that's because of injury or is it because just him being Daniel Jones of the Giants.
So one thing I do want to say is with the Colts, they really preached off-field preparation or how he commands the line or whatever the case might be. I don't think Kyler's that. Obviously, I don't know about Tua too much. I think Tua would be better at Kyler at that. They loved what Daniel Jones did there. So to predict who's week 1 starter is Daniel Jones.
It's Daniel Jones, yeah.
It's going to be Daniel Jones. I am skeptical of how he's going to play. I am skeptical of the 40 mil. If they do let Anthony Richardson get traded, and hopefully they don't lose both of them, because if they move off of Daniel Jones, then obviously I would give Anthony Richardson one last chance. Maybe that's where they bring in a guy behind Daniel Jones that can be legit. Not legit, but you know what I mean.
If Daniel Jones is back, Anthony Richardson's gone, Riley Leonard's QB2. Because Riley Leonard showed something in that.
I think they might bring in, this is where they might bring in.
I don't think so. They're gonna give they might bring someone like not a guaranteed QB2. They'll probably bring in a guy that's like, not that great and make a QB2 competition. But I think the QB2, the one thing I'm confident about for the Colts quarterback situation is that QB2 is going to be Riley Leonard next year.
All right.
That's the one thing I'm confident for.
I'm not confident with that. I'll say that. I'm going to disagree with you there. I'm not confident with that. This is where I could see them bringing in a different guy, whoever that might be. But we'll see what ends up happening, like a Justin Fields or whatever the case might be. So we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, accuracy is the problem with Justin Fields, so I don't think he would be exactly, but we'll see what ends up happening. To close it out, rapid fire, some quarterbacks we did not mention that we're going to find a team next year. So you're going to just answer, is he going to be on a team as a backup or a starter somewhere? Justin Fields.
Backup.
You already agreed Willis and Tua are starters somewhere, right?
Well, the Tua and Murray thing. So
yeah, okay. So Kirk Cousins, you already said Minnesota.
Starter, yeah.
Russell Wilson.
Backup.
You saying he's not even like he's not
starter.
No. Like I'm saying like he could not be playing at all. It doesn't have to be just a backup.
Is backup or not playing at all? Yeah.
So you're going more likely he will be a backup.
Like I could see him be a backup somewhere.
Where'd he go? Gardner Minshew. I think he's going back to the Chiefs to back up.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then the last name I saw that was somewhat interesting here. I mean, I think the perfect spot for this guy is Tyler Huntley is going back to the Ravens if he wants to.
Ravens. It has to be the Ravens.
So
obviously that's backup as well.
Yeah, so I think a lot of these are going to be backups. I think there's nothing else to do. Oh, Joe Flacco. Sorry. Is he done or is he going to as a team as a backup somewhere?
Backup, man. Like, I don't think he's going to be a starter.
He's not going to be a starter, but I'm saying, is he done?
He's a backup. No, he's a backup.
Yeah. So
unless he retires, that's it on.
Yeah.
But like,
you don't see him like.
If I'm looking at, if he's still in the league, he's definitely a backup quarterback. And he's going to be like up there as like, the top backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
All right, so that pretty much wraps it up for us here. So once again, the offseason is coming up. We're going to have a lot of teams to talk about. You guys do not want to miss that. Hit the post notification bell. We appreciate the support we had over on TikTok, on TikTok, Instagram, and obviously the YouTube videos as well. So comment down below, where are these quarterbacks going to be playing next year? Where are these teams? Who are their week one quarterbacks? We want to hear your predictions down below. If there's any teams we missed that you think that's going to have a new quarterback next year, a bold prediction. Hey, is Lamar Jackson leaving? Who knows? Well, Joe Burrow, we'll end up seeing what's happening. Crazy things do happen in the offseason. You guys do not want to miss that. Other than that, we appreciate you guys. Hit the subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.